Is that a green shirt?
It is a green shirt.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So I'm in red. You're in green.
How how is the lighting? Am
The
I too
lighting is
warm, do
good.
you think?
No, I think you look at like you. I always feel like I look like I am a pale like creature, and you always look like
That's
you're
how I want
very
to
tough.
look.
Yeah, but you look good. You don't look like I look so like whitish, and it's like I'm trying to have color, but I'm anemic. What can I do? I have to take iron supplements. So
It's not your
whatever.
fault.
This looks better than I did. Well, you're in Florida, so
That's
sunny
true.
Florida.
That's
Sunny
true.
Florida.
I've got that glow going
You got
on.
that Florida.
But yeah, I this was like the only Christmas colored shirt that I had in my closet, honestly. And I think I got it from my dad. I think it was a shirt that he didn't want. You see, he goes to
Yeah,
the church thrift shop for all of his
rummage
clothing
sale.
needs. And he's always displaying a new shirt that he got from the church basement. And this happened to be one that he was okay with parting with. And I kind of liked it. It's got like
Yeah.
I think it's got a good Florida vibe. It's a
Yes.
good
I,
multi-purpose shirt, whether you're out on the trail or in the office,
yeah,
you know?
perfect. Yeah, it's multi-dimensional. Sure.
Yeah, like
On the
me.
wrong. Yes, absolutely. But so do we want to is there anything we need to cover before we get started?
I thought we were already into it.
Oh, all right.
I
We're
thought
already
that,
into it.
yeah,
Okay.
I thought that this could have been part of it because this is
Okay.
really a lot of what we talk about,
Yes,
stuff like
that's
this.
true. Stuff important attire questions,
Yeah.
fashion. But no, today we have a very special episode. You know, growing up, like you'd watch sitcoms and there's always like a very special episode. Well, today is a special episode, not about 9/11, but about a much more important topic, which is Christmas. And so we're going to just go through we're probably going to talk about we're going to do a little bit of a this or that. I don't know if you're familiar with a this or that, but you're going to have to pick between like certain things about that are Christmas related. Like I keep mentioning to you white or colored lights. So we're going to get into it. We're going to talk a little bit about that. Maybe peppered with some of our favorite Christmas things, like maybe like favorite commercials, favorite films and favorite music. I know that you are somebody that has like very strong, not I wouldn't even say strong opinions, but very thought out opinions. I feel as if you take a lot of time to contemplate how you feel about something. And I
Mostly
don't
doing
know if
dishes
mostly doing
while the water's
yes.
running.
Yeah. So I feel like this will be the perfect thing for you. So I really haven't honestly, my mom wrote most of these. She listened to our last show and then she just texted me a bunch of these. So it's not like I came up with these. So I don't really I haven't contemplated a lot of the questions. So this will be rather new to you and to myself. So I think we
That's
should
good though.
just
We'll get very
yeah.
candid reactions.
Yes, yeah, yeah. So the only time that I spent with them is literally writing them down. So, all right. So first we're going to start with kind of just like a neutral, not very, I think like it's going to become a little bit more like heightened, the opinions as we progress, but we're going to
So the
start.
card's going to build, in other words.
Yes,
The
yes.
cards
So we're going
build.
to start with
I like that.
tinsel versus no tinsel.
I find Tinsel to be kind of annoying, honestly. Um, I'm gonna say emphatically no Tinsel.
All right. I'm glad that you said, is that also because of shadow? I feel like people with cats don't like tinsel.
Listen, she's batting balls off the tree in the middle of the. There's really nothing I can do about it. I mean, I've just accepted that this is the price you pay if you want to live with a cat. They're gonna screw with your Christmas tree, and that's what has been going on here. But so yeah, it wouldn't matter one way or the other. I mean, that would maybe make things a bit messier, I suppose. That's kind of why I don't like it. It's too messy. I don't really want much to do with it.
I like that. Like the cats all they devolve from being like domesticated creatures into being like wild cats around
once the
Christmas
Christmas
time,
tree
right?
grows up, it's like, it's fair game.
There's something like very primal that happens to the cats when they see that Christmas tree. Like they know they should be practicing Saturnalia and like they know. They're like, you should be taking part in Saturnalia. And this is,
And it's like, there's a tree in the house now. This is wild. Like trees are outside and now they put one up in the house and there's stuff dangling from branches. Like that's a cat's paradise.
Yeah, I suppose. I'm going to say with Tinsel, I think my husband does not like Tinsel. I think he thinks it's tacky. I don't even know if it's because it's messy. I think he thinks it's tacky. But I think that in the right setting, Tinsel can be fun. And I just like the disgust on your face as I said that.
Do you think that Tinsel was inherent to a certain era? Like, I kind of think of like 1950s. Like, I picture people in the 50s would decorate their tree with a lot of tinsel.
Well, yeah, that's kind of what I'm saying. I think that like if you are someone, I just realized my microphone stand was like falling off and I didn't even know. I think like, yes, like if you're doing like a mid-century tree and it's got that vibe, that aesthetic, I think that Tinsel can be really, really fun. I was just watching, sorry, this is of course happening, right? I was watching Dolly Parton. She did a show like years ago, like I think in the early 80s. I don't even know when this was from. It was like a down home country Christmas while I was making Christmas cookies. And she was talking to another country singer. I don't know who he was exactly. And he was saying that he didn't have a lot of money growing up and his dad found a Christmas tree that like the department store was throwing away. And it was bright pink, as he described it, like bubblegum pink. And he's like, not a pastel. He was like strong pink. And he said that, most people wouldn't think it was that beautiful, but he just appreciated it. And that was one of his favorite childhood memories was his dad, essentially trash picking this tree. I just thought that was really cute. So I think that in that kind of, I know a lady that does like more than one tree. And I think that that's what I'm saying. Like if you are doing that vibe, you're doing like a blue velvet. I don't know that blue velvet was like David Lynch was 19. It was like a weird, I don't know what era.
Blue velvet was that was probably his most mainstream film, honestly, which when you watch it, I mean, it's David Lynch for sure. But
no.
great movie. But anyway, one question I was going to ask regarding this pink tree. Now, is this the main tree that goes in the family room?
Yeah, this was like their family couldn't afford any other tree.
It was because I was thinking like a pink tree. A pink tree would be nice for like plugging in in a different room in your house, like your bedroom or your office, to kind of create a good feng shui,
just a fun. I know someone that does like multiple trees. So, all right, we're gonna move on from the tinsel. Let us know in the comments if anybody has like really strong opinions about any of this.
Karen's mom, please let us know in the comments. Shout out to Psalm. I can't remember what Psalm.
Psalm 91. She's gonna like yell at me probably. She'll be like, Karen is so rude. What else is new? All right. So eggnog or hot chocolate or hot cocoa, as some refined people might call it.
Oh, boy. Well, I mean, both have their merits. Both are enjoyable little holiday treats. I would say I look forward to eggnog a lot more, though. Like, it's always a good feeling when you see the eggnog come out in the grocery store, around Christmas time. So I'm gonna go with eggnog, but that's not to discount hot chocolate. Certainly, it's just not something I partake in on a regular basis. Really, I don't buy. It's not like I keep hot chocolate in the pantry. Do you know what I mean?
Okay, I have to say that I think that as far as holidays go, like there's some merit to what you said, that like eggnog is more of an actual Christmas tradition, whereas hot chocolate is just a winter tradition. I mean, really, we start breaking out the hot chocolate kind of around October. So I think that
You know
whereas
what though? Like
yeah,
you
yeah.
can have a hot drink in the summer. What's this whole notion that it's the summertime, you dare not have a hot drink? Well, why not? What if you're inside in the air conditioning and you want a hot beverage? You could have hot chocolate in on the 4th of July if you so choose. It's a free country.
Well, it's funny that you say that because I feel like I will get myself like an iced coffee drink in like September. I'm always like, well, it's one of the last nice days, so I got to make sure. Or like if it's raining out in the summer, or it's like the fall and it's starting to get cold and it's raining, I'm like, I'm on the fence. I'm like, do I get a cold drink or do I get a hot drink? It kind of like confuses me. So I think I definitely go with the feelings or like with the weather outside for my beverage choices. But I have to say, like, I kind of drink hot chocolate like all Christmas and all winter long. So I think I'm going to say that eggnog is more, I would say I'm going to go with eggnog because eggnog is a Christmas drink. It is
That's right.
hot chocolate is a winter drink. It's a very distinct difference there. So I think, yeah, I think I'll go with eggnog. Now, what am I going to drink more often? It's probably going to be hot chocolate, but I pretty
Well,
much
yeah,
drink that all.
exactly.
Yeah.
Because again, eggnog is seasonal and hot chocolate is round the year whenever you so choose.
Some people like iced hot chocolate. So, I mean, iced, if that makes sense, like iced. I don't know.
Like hot chocolate.
It's stupid because it's not hot chocolate. It's oxymoron.
Right. But whatever that
chocolate.
The liquid is.
Yes.
Iced hot chocolate liquid.
We in America have figured out a way to give you diabetes by 27, like a million different ways. Like if you want it, we got it. So I would say that I got into like a hot chocolate kick last year, and it used to drive my husband nuts because he would like be sitting down after dinner like ready to relax. He's like, and it would take me like 25 minutes to make myself hot chocolate from cocoa, like pure cocoa on the stove, and he's like, I just want to chill, like what are you doing? And I'm just sitting there like making hot chocolate. I was addicted to it all.
So you don't buy like Swiss
winter.
Miss packets or anything like that?
I do buy that, but I got
Is that the brand, by the way? Did I make that up?
Yeah, Swiss Miss. No, that's it. Okay. Yeah, Swiss Miss is like the king of hot chocolate.
Right.
You know, we got this Land O'Lakes. I usually hate the Keurig versions, but I have to say, there's a Land O'Lakes one that just hits the spot, and it only has like 5 grams of sugar. I was really shocked, but it almost has. I think that Swiss Miss and all that has such an artificial flavor at this point that like I don't think I even mind that there was like aspartame or like sucralose in this Land O'Lakes stuff.
Give me all the aspartame.
Yeah, because it's like you're kind of like used to the artificial taste in like hot chocolate as is. But yeah, sometimes I make real hot chocolate on the stove with like cocoa powder, like straight up cocoa powder. And then you like put it over milk and you just keep swirling it and it gets like thicker, and you add some, while you do like half and half. So it's ridiculous, but man, it's really, really good. So, all right. So the big one, and I keep mentioning, white or colored lights.
I'm a white light guy just because it seems more more angelic, so to speak. More, I'm going because that's the vibe.
Celestial.
Yes, celestial, because that's kind of the vibe that I'm going for in my home. I have white lights in the window because, again, it's very celestial. And not to, colored lights can be fun, but again, they're almost, I'm picturing a older time period. Like I'm picturing big multicolored bulbs that one would have on their tree back in like the 1950s. And I don't know if that's because I'm thinking of A Christmas Story. A lot of the decorations we're talking about, I'm picturing in my mind as being in A Christmas Story, even though that might have been 1940s, actually.
It was 1940s, yeah.
Yeah, but nevertheless, I feel like the multicolored lights are more inherent
to that. Tacky. You're just saying
Yeah, a
tacky.
little bit tacky, kind of like Tinsel. Yeah, a little bit tacky. Yeah, thank you.
All right. So with the whiter colored lights, I have to give a shout out. When I was a kid, I was probably like 9 or 10 years old. We used to listen to talk radio out of Philadelphia, WPHT 1210, the big talker. And they did a whole show about whiter colored lights because the guy who hosted the show, Michael Smerconish, I think he moved, he became a lawyer and he moved to a more affluent suburbs of Philadelphia and everybody had white lights. And I think he was kind of like upset about it that he grew up and people had colored lights and he just thought, these fuddy-duddies all have white lights. And so he did a whole radio show, like a 3-hour radio show, people calling in about the white versus colored lights. And honestly, that's one of the reasons why I think I wanted to work in radio, was listening to that show. It was so memorable. And when he retired from that station a couple of years ago back, they actually played clips from that show. That was like one of the most memorable shows they ever did, was on that. So this is something I've been thinking about for a long time. This is like since I was 10, I've been having this debate in my mind. Right. So my husband and I also have this debate because he is a staunch white light kind of guy too. Like my husband is very bougie. He's very classy. He loves luxury.
He likes the finer things in life. He doesn't want to slum it. And I don't like to slum it either. So I can relate.
Yeah. So he does not like the colored Christmas lights. Here's the thing. I like colored lights, but not these new ugly, hideous LED ones they have out. You probably know what I'm talking about. They're like blue. Yeah. The blue is very strong. And I like the old chunky ones that you were talking about from the Christmas Story. Yeah. I like the old chunky ones. I like what they use, like you can imagine in Charlie Brown Christmas, Snoopy puts on his little house, dog house. Right. Those are okay. I like the little miniature lights that you put on the tree, the colored lights. But the new ones with the LED, that like fierce color is hideous. It is absolutely hideous. I hate those lights. Every time I see them, I get like anxiety. Like somebody just posted Christmas Village in Philadelphia and they had that the tree had those new colored lights. Like they kind of tried to bring back those chunky lights. But I think they're missing white because there was a white on the old ones. Yes, there was a white. And those ones are like LED and they're not warm. Everybody, come on, people, you know what I'm talking about. They're LED. They're not warm. They're very cold.
Yes, they're very cold.
They're like a Mao Zedong Christmas or something, okay? Like, I hate them.
It's like I picture like a car. You ever see the cars that have those annoying blue LED headlights?
Yes,
oh my God, when they turn the high beams on, it's like lasers shooting through your brain.
Yeah. Like Biden needs to do that. He's trying to get rid of gas stoves. No. We need to get rid of those hideous freaking lights. If I see them at Walmart,
hazard.
I'm going to just start going to Walmart and just throwing them in the trash. I'll be arrested.
I'm
going January 6th on these lights. But so I told my husband when we got married, when we had like our first Christmas, I was like, listen, like we can do the white lights, but if we have children, we're doing colored lights. Get with the program. Okay.
It's like a compromise.
Yes. And when our children are grown, we will stop doing it. Well, now we have no children. So we have white lights. So until I adopt some kind of children or they show up at my door, I have to do the white.
You're making the depopulationist happy and not having children. You're going, you're following in lockstep with Kissinger and Schwab and Gates and all those guys.
Yeah, I mean, I listened to them and they told me what to do with my life, and I thought that makes a lot of sense. I think this next question is going to be super easy. I really do want to hear in the comments.
Can I interject? There's one brief anecdote that I just have to interject just because I have to get it out of me. Growing up in my small little town, there was this one household and they lived right across the street from one of the local churches, and their hallmark Christmas decoration, I think like the only Christmas decoration, they had a set of stairs up to their porch, and what they would do is they would wrap those big multicolored chunky lights around the railings. That was like their only Christmas decoration. And it's like once you drove past and you saw those lights were up, it was like, oh yeah, it's the Christmas season now. Look at the such and such family has got their only Christmas decoration up. And yeah, that's just something that I grew up with that I wanted to share because it's I can still picture it to this day, those giant multicolored lights.
Yeah, Collin just driving by, showing his affluent. You grew up rich, so
yeah. You know. Well, I really thought we were rich. I thought I never even pictured myself like working. And he said, yeah. Goes, what the hell would you need to do that for? Isn't
that was the greatest admission of all time? Like working?
Yeah, it just seemed like preposterous. I wish I was exaggerating. But the notion of it just seemed like, yeah, I'll be doing that.
Yeah, exactly.
You're out of your mind.
Collin just drove by in his not attached house at the outskirts of town in the rich side of the wealthy side of town with his well-decorated home.
We had a nice Lincoln.
A nice Lincoln.
A Lincoln town car.
You're like, oh, we have a town car. I have a trust fund. I'm never going to work.
Right. It's just ridiculous, this notion.
All right. So another Christmas decoration question is, and I think this one's going to be super easy for both of us to answer. Blow up outdoor decorations or the old school blow molds. You understand what I'm talking about? Like
I have a very strong opinion about this now because I'm sorry, like some people. Okay, so listen, some people can really do up their yard really, cool with the blow ups, but you better have them inflated 24/7 because if you don't, you just have a sea of just this plastic, like just this weird deflated plastic on your lawn, and it looks hideous. Yes. Although I do have one blow up on my my little entryway. I have a Christmas Tyrannosaurus Rex. It's only about like 4 feet tall, 3 or 4 feet tall, and I keep him inflated most of the day because again, I hate when there's this weird deflated mass just on the ground. So to answer your question, I'm going to go with the classier answer once again, which is the actual physical molds. What did you call them?
Yes. Yeah. My mom has made it her mission to like own like an entire kingdom of the blow molds. So she goes on like Facebook Marketplace and she's got the Santa and the reindeer. She's got, I think I mentioned this last time, she has like a nativity. My brother made a manger for it. I mean, it's getting like, it's going to be crazy in a couple of years. Like she is dedicated to this. And when we were kids, we had like a Frosty, like just a snowman, like just one. And we had a little porch, like now she has like a whole farm that she owns. And so I think like her goal is to make her house like a go-to location for like people to drive by. I think that's like what she's going for.
There were always those houses growing up where it was like, you have to drive by such and such. Look at how crazy they did their house up. Look how nice it looks. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, we used to go to down in Bucks County, Shady, when I was living Bucks County. There's a really big drive-through light show at Shady Brook Farm. And so we would go to that and drive through it. Well, years later, we moved to the Poconos and there wasn't really like a light show like that. So my mom would just like drive by at any of the houses where they were all lit up. And she goes, light show, kids. Just keeps driving.
Right.
She was like, light show. So like, we always joke around, like I'm 33 years old. And if I see, like, I'll go down, my street actually has some pretty fantastic light decorations. Like I'm pretty impressed. So I made a point. I was going to like the grocery store and it was like dark last week. And I'm like, oh, I'm going to drive my road because everybody's going to have their lights on. And my house is not decorated. Not because I don't want it to be. It's just we're in a work in progress. So we'll probably be ready to decorate by the time we're selling the house. Like that'll probably be when we get to that point. But Yeah, but there's some great light displays. Like honestly, my whole road is a night. It's like a light show in and of itself. So, props to those people. It's a lot of work. It really is a lot of work.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, I would have to hire somebody. I would have to hire a professional exterior illuminator to come.
right there, it's a big thing. My husband was telling me, he was like, "Oh, I see that everywhere now," and I'm like, "Oh, well, good to know." And maybe if we are rich and successful, we'll just be able to hire someone to get all the fancy. I would do like a little decor. I'm like a wreath person. My husband and I are in talks. I'm very slow about everything, so I have to prepare years in advance.
Sure. Yeah, it's like a war plan.
It's like a war plan. So we have two big windows on our front porch, and we want to put like a wreath on one and a wreath on the other, and then a wreath on our door. And so my husband will probably mandate that those are white lights, or I'll have to leave our home. So that's something to look forward to. But no blow molds. I'm sorry, I didn't even answer the question. Blow molds also should not be allowed. Stop banning the gas stoves and ban the blow molds. Okay, Biden. Like, if Biden did that, he would go down as one of the greatest presidents in all history. If he just did those two things.
If he just did that, like, he could kind of, forgive a lot of other things. But listen, again, not to discredit people who have the blow ups, because again, there are some houses I drive past in my neighborhood who have these blow ups, and I'm like, okay, this looks really cool. But again, I hope you're keeping it inflated 24/7, or else your yard's gonna look like crap.
Get it. It's easier to store, and it's just something for the kids to have. But like, you're right. When these people have like a million of them, I'm like, really? Like, really?
It's very
like,
cartoony. Again, it is the tackier option overall. One other little anecdote from my childhood that I wanted to interject: the house up the street, their main Christmas decoration on their front lawn, they had a big platform, and they had a nativity scene, and they were like these big like white figurines. Like,
yes,
I think they were wooden.
Wow.
And the thing is, though, like, it looks so crowded, like, and it gave the illusion that there are just so many different characters, like, on this platform hovering over the baby Jesus. We would always joke, like, they should get like Godzilla should be there, and like Mothra, and like
I like the idea of your family driving around just like criticizing everybody's Christmas.
Well, I mean, it just looks so crowded. This, like, it could have looked. They needed a bigger platform.
Worst. Yeah. All right. So Santa versus Krampus / Belsnickel.
Isn't Krampus okay? That's a German.
It's a European. I don't know which. Yeah, there's a lot of
German lore.
A lot of different lore over there.
Isn't he like a dark entity though, of sorts? Krampus.
Well, I'll tell you what, yes, I agree with that. I also know that when my German teacher used to tell us when I was in high school, she was like, they call him Schwarzmann. And that means like black man. And it was basically like a black man. And I was like, it's kind of racist. Like, it's actually like, there are very like racist, like not in all of the lore, because there's Belsnickel and there's Krampus. Like you said, part of it is like demonic, and part of it is racist, and part of it is just like you're getting beat for being bad, But I'm telling you, around here, like up in Pennsylvania, in the we are being I guess invaded by the dark forces. And there's like Krampus festivals all over the place around here. Do you have Krampus festivals in Florida?
I mean, probably. I
Disney,
know of one.
Probably.
I know of one around where you are. I think I might know some people who went to that, actually.
I know some people that went to it too. Yeah. But it's become like a thing. Like nobody wants to see Santa. They just want to worship at Krampus's feet.
Well, it's part of it's part of the satanic cabal's takeover of our culture and our country and our society. It's all part of that.
Yeah.
That's why I'm going with Santa Claus, because Santa Claus comes on Christmas and he leaves presents under the tree, and he visits my home every year. I believe in Santa Claus. And
just so you know, on this show, we believe in Santa Claus. He is coming on December 25th. If kids are lit, this is a family show. Santa is coming.
We're like Alex Jones. This is a family Christian show.
Yeah, this is a family Christian show, and Santa is coming to bring me $1 million, hopefully, but we'll see. Probably not.
No, he doesn't leave cash, Karen. He doesn't leave cash. Get out of town.
Yeah, he never.
The elves make the toys at the North Pole, and then Santa is able to see. He's more of he's like an entity of sorts, an entity of light who's able to manipulate time, and that's how he's able to visit everyone in one night. It is a very exhausting journey, but he operates primarily on fat and sugar. And that kind of gets him through. But that's my explanation of Santa Claus. And he is Saint Nicholas, so he is
Saint Nicholas. Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for. So a friend of ours he made a Christmas album years ago, and he has a song called Nicholas. I don't think he didn't write it, but there's this beautiful song called Nicholas, and it talks about like how Saint Nicholas, who was, I believe, lived in like what's now considered Turkey, how like he was kind of like a wealthy guy, and it kind of like the song talks about the origins of Saint Nicholas and says like how he, saw the children and that they were hungry, and it's a really beautiful song. And actually it ends with the lyrics that it's like, I think Santa Claus is an idol that's been thrust upon our kids. We've lost the heart of Nicholas and the giving that was his. And I think that like, I agree with you. Like I really there's this really cool statue over in Turkey of Saint Nicholas. And he's like more rugged looking, but he has a bag. But it's not like a jolly elf like Santa Claus is, we know from the Coca-Cola ads. Like it's more rugged Santa. Like it's a real person. It's supposed to be St. Nicholas.
Right.
And I'm like, I would love to have like that figurine for my house, to just have it and put it out and be like, this is, in honor of like the real St. Nicholas, not this like, idol and consumerist pig that's been thrust upon us,
I don't know. I still do get like a kind of a
like
warm
Santa Claus though. Yeah. I'm not.
I still do get like a warm feeling when I picture like the old classic Santa Claus Coca-Cola ads. To be honest with you, like I remember it being one of the hallmarks of Christmas time growing up was seeing the Santa Claus Coca-Cola bottles around Christmas time.
Yeah.
And I remember I was always told by my mother that was the real Santa Claus. That Coca-Cola. I remember she told me that on the Coca-Cola bottle, that was the real Santa Claus.
I like your Christmas traditions. I like the idea of driving around, talking trash on people's decorations, drinking Coca-Cola, which has my initials, KO. Their stock is KO.
Better than Pepsi, by the way. Pepsi is
like
a low brow.
This or that. Pepsi is literally watered down, flat syrup that it's like if Coke just sat out overnight and you added more syrup to it. Like, it's filthy. It's just, Coca-Cola all the way. I'm glad we agree on that, because if we didn't,
I was going to say something else about Pepsi's ingredients, but I have to be careful. I don't want to get us kicked off of YouTube. Yeah,
all right, we'll look it up. What do I look up?
Just Google like Alex Jones Pepsi, and he'll fill you in on what.
Does this hurt like libido? Is that the point of it?
No, just look it up.
Okay. Yes, I do. I like the jolly elf Santa Claus too. And while we're talking about this, I want to make a point that there are a lot of adaptions, like a lot of films that get Santa Claus wrong. Hear me out. Like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, the original. Yeah. Like not the original, but like not the book, but like the original Rankin Bass classic.
The claymation television
Santa
classic.
is a nasty SOB. Like he's so nasty on that one. And it really like upsets me how mean Santa is.
Watch that again.
Yeah, watch it. And then also too, the like Elf, I think is a really good modern Christmas movie, but I don't like who they cast as Santa. I think it's Ed Asner or something.
Here's my problem with Elf. I've known so many terrible people throughout my life that's been like their go-to Christmas movie. And I never saw it because of that. I'm like, oh my God, well, if that's their favorite Christmas, I don't want anything to do with this movie. And it just, I don't know. The entire premise seems stupid to me. It kind of got under my skin a little bit. It got under my nerves, just picturing Will Ferrell. I don't know. I don't like it. Should I watch it?
So do whatever you want, but
good
I
answer.
Like that you hate it. I like your like fierce hatred of it. Which I think is a really good thing. Like I think
just terrible person after terrible person. Oh, Elf, gotta watch Elf.
Yeah,
There's no way I'm watching it.
I think that is overrated. I think it is good. I think Will Ferrell does a good job. But I think is it Ed Asner? I'm not really sure. Somehow, like I knew watching it that whoever was playing Santa was like a raging liberal. Like my mom probably was like, "Oh, that freaking anti-American pig." And then as I was looking, so my husband, so I totally forgot about all this. And then my husband and I watched it last. I was like, "Oh, hon, do you want to watch Elf?" And he's like, "Yeah, I like Elf." And because he's not corrupted by all this information like I am, where I know way too much about everything. So we're watching it. Yeah, much. Ed Asner is Santa Claus. And so like I'm watching it and I'm like, he just doesn't have a Santa face. Like he seems mean. So of course, like I'm sitting there watching and I go on Wikipedia. I'm like, who is this that plays Santa? It's like some kind of lunatic that was like protesting. So I look him up. And then I found out that he was actually a 9/11 truther. So he is a raging liberal, but then I found out he was a 9/11 truther. And I was like, well, you know, he's not that bad of a guy. A lot
of the old liberals, I mean, you associated being a 9/11 truther with being a liberal position back in like the early 2000s.
Yeah.
Like that's why I always considered myself more liberal, because I was into stuff like that. And that just seemed like it went hand in hand, or at least it used to.
Yeah. So Ed Asner might be like an old school, but he's still okay. Take it. Okay. So as I read this information, I realized that like, okay, Ed Asner isn't that bad, because I do agree with him. I think he was like anti-Bush, but I think at the time, my mom probably made a comment. It's seeded itself into my little, 13-year-old brain that this guy is a communist pig, and I therefore cannot like him. She's probably right. But then I read that about him being a 9/11 truther. So I was like, okay, I like him a little more, but I still don't like him as Santa Claus. He looks like mean. He just looks mean. He doesn't have a jolly face. We need jolly looking Santa. We don't need mean looking Santa. So the point I'm making is sometimes Santa is miscast or miswritten by the folks in Hollywood. I just want to say that. So, but I mean, we know about Hollywood.
What's next. The best? Do you think that there is like do you have a favorite Santa from film or television?
Of course. Well, I think we'll just skip this next question and run right into this question, because I wasn't going to ask a this or that. I was going to ask best Rankin Bass movie, like of the claymations. And my personal favorite Santa Claus is Santa Claus is Coming to Town, voiced by the one and only Mickey Rooney. Okay.
Oh yeah, I remember you told me.
And Fred Astaire. Yes, Fred Astaire. He's like, oh God, I have to listen to this speech again.
Certainly not.
Mickey Rooney is the voice of Santa Claus. Fred Astaire is the narrator. It's the origin story of Santa Claus. Children, you're going to watch this, and if you're a parent, you're going to make sure your children watch it. Santa Claus is Coming to Town is the best Rankin Bass, in my personal, humble opinion. And it is the best, it's the best version of Santa Claus, I think, that is out there. Like, it is, he's perfect. He's happy. He's innocent. He's optimistic. He's kind. He's forgiving. There's a scene. My favorite scene in the movie is when Santa Claus, who is at the time just Kris Kringle, he's not Santa Claus yet because it's the origin story. And he has to go back to the North Pole from the town, but he's afraid and he runs into the Winter Warlock. And he talks to the Winter Warlock and he gives him a toy and it melts the heart and the evilness from the Winter Warlock, right? And then they sing the beautiful song, take one foot in front of the other,
and soon you'll be walking out the door. Yes. I remember.
Yes, there's this beautiful scene when they sing it, and right after, Winter Warlock says to Kris Kringle, who will then become Santa Claus, and he goes, I don't know, it's so hard to truly change. I'm still a mean, despicable creature at heart. And I just feel that in my soul every time. But I'm like, I am a mean, despicable creature at heart. And that's when Kris Kringle tells him, like, put one foot in front of the other.
Right.
Because it is so hard to truly change. That film is so deep. That Santa is so perfect. Mickey Rourke is perfection. So, and it actually is like one of the only Rankin Bass movies that actually.
Did you say Mickey Rourke?
Did I say Mickey Rourke? I meant Mickey Rooney.
They should Rooney.
I'm sorry.
Mickey Rourke.
Actually, I keep saying Mickey Rourke. Mickey Rooney. My apologies. Mickey Rooney. Mickey Rourke would be hilarious there too. But Mickey Rooney, I hope that somebody out there hears this and then they decide to make that happen. But Mickey Rourke would be a fun Santa. But you could see Mickey Rourke as like a washed up like drug addict who has to play Santa to like make money to like, talk to his children or something. But that version is so good. It's so perfect. Mickey Rooney, not Mickey Rourke. And it's one of the only Rankin Bass films that actually acknowledges Jesus in it, because he decides to. Yes, yeah, at the very end, of course, at the beginning, because they probably had to wait. He says that Santa picked why children do we celebrate Christmas? Why do we give gifts on Christmas? Because Kris Kringle decided to pick the holiest night of the year, because he couldn't do it every night. He had to do it on one night. And he picked the holiest night, which was the birth of Christ. So watch the movie and learn the origins of Santa Claus. That's
Carl
all.
Schultz also mentions Jesus.
Yes.
Charlie Brown Christmas.
Yeah, I guess that's why those are, because I'm like an evangelical extremist. So maybe that's
you're probably on a list then, no doubt.
Probably am,
if you go to the Latin Mass, you are on the FBI's watch list, and that's not a joke either. I'm pretty sure that they actually specifically mention people who attend the Latin Mass. You better watch out for them.
I went a little bit off on a tangent, but what would you say is your favorite Rankin Bass, like the claymation?
Well, Rudolph
films?
For sure.
Rudolph, yeah,
absolutely.
With Nazi Santa, of course.
Yeah, I enjoy. I don't know.
It's so good.
It's been these aren't movies, honestly. I know this is going to sound maybe a little cold, but these aren't movies that I like watch every Christmas, actually. Like I have not seen some of these movies in many, many years, just because, I don't know, they're not part of my... I'm more of a live action Christmas movie kind of a guy, so they're not part of my rotation. But I really do want to revisit some of them, and Rudolph is certainly one of them. Well,
I identify as 7 years old. So
I know. I identify as 64.
But so So no, I think for me, it's just that I have so many younger siblings. So then we would like watch them again and again. And then I was able to really refine because I think for most people, it's like they just watched it when they were a kid and they didn't really watch it again and again growing up.
Yeah.
And I watched these so many times that I've really been able to watch it with a refined palate as an older, like as a teenager and as an older person and like not older, but just like more of an adult.
You get different things when
yes,
out of them.
So
I noticed that with film in general. You know, with the older you get different things out of them.
So I think for me, it like gave me time. I've given all of them enough watches to know like what's really the good stuff and what's really not as good. But I will say Rudolph is a classic. It is the original. And the music is so top notch. The claymation is top notch. The only thing about it that is not great is the Santa and his behavior.
I can't wait to watch this now because
I'll
probably agree with you.
You'll be texting me and you'll be like, "Oh my God, Santa just made me cry."
Hitler Santa.
But like why is it a big deal that he's a red nose? But yeah, the Island of Misfit Toys, like some of those songs are so great, and there's just a lot of good. Also, I just saw because we were watching it. We actually found a version on YouTube which had like classic commercials from the 1980s. It was really fun. It was more fun like watching the commercials, I think, than actually watching Rudolph because I've seen it a bunch of times.
Yeah.
But there was this conspiracy I found out about that one of the Misfit toys was like a doll, and she didn't seem to have any, like looking at her visually, there doesn't seem to be anything wrong with her. So they're like, why is she on the Island of Misfit Toys? And I think that like, so I don't think there really is a true reason. Like they asked some of the original creators, and I think they said like they just need to have a girl toy and they just need it like a toy. And then like somebody said that she was like depressed. Like so there's like this theory or this idea out there that the one doll is depressed and that's why she's on the Island of Toys. I'm like, who is reading this deeply? I mean, I guess I read pretty deeply into these.
I suppose it's possible. But
yes, so
I think they probably just stuck a doll in there, honestly.
Yeah, I thought the same. I was like, I don't think these people were really thinking that much, but there's like a whole conspiracy. It's like a whole part of the Wikipedia on Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. All right, so another good question. We're going to get back to this and that. Real or fake tree?
We had a real tree growing up for a while, but I had asthma as a child pretty bad. And I don't know why you're laughing. This was a very serious matter. This was very serious.
It's the way you presented it. The way you presented it was just...
Well, in any case, it aggravated my asthmatic condition as a child. So we started getting the fake trees. And honestly, Karen, like, I'm just a single guy here. Of course I have just a tree that I bought from Walmart. It's a nice tree. It has white lights on it, of course. And I decorated very
like a
nice.
Good American.
Yes. And I decorated very nice with all my little ornaments that I've accumulated over the years, and I put I put like purple and gold and silver balls on my tree. I have that kind of I have like a purple and gold sort of
aesthetic.
That's
motif. Your aesthetic,
yeah. So I think that I don't think there's anything wrong with a fake tree, but I do appreciate the tradition of going out into the frosty winter landscape and getting your own tree. I guess, what do you go to, a tree place? Like
a tree farm. Yeah. We live around a lot of tree farms. And would it really be an episode of ReEducation Camp if we don't mention our queen, Taylor Swift, who was raised on a Christmas tree farm and wrote a song about it? I don't know if you know about that.
No, I don't know. You're more of a Swiftie than I am, truthfully.
Apparently. I knew you knew. I thought you were the bigger Swiftie, but no. I was honestly like, after the last podcast, I'm like, we should just cut our losses and just become a Taylor Swift podcast.
I mean, we'd probably make money that way, truthfully.
Yeah, we probably would. But she was raised on a Christmas tree farm, apparently, in the Wyomissing area of Pennsylvania. But where we live, where Collin and I are from. There are a lot of Christmas tree farms in the area. I actually live across the street from a Christmas tree farm. And so I definitely always had a real tree growing up. And my husband and I have instituted getting a real tree. We did not the first couple of years we were married. We didn't even get a tree at all, just because like we had so much construction going on in our house, and we just took like these white birch trees, like these light up white birch trees from our house, and put them on either side of the fireplace, and we would just decorate those. And then
Charlie Brown tree.
Yeah, I like the Charlie Brown trees too. But the one year I got really, really sick, and I had like sepsis and was stuck in the ICU and was in the hospital for like 2 weeks right before Christmas. And I came home. My husband,
hold of you, and I was annoyed.
Yes,
where is she? She's not responding. She's in the
Why
hospital.
is she not responding to me about Alex Jones? And I'm like,
right. I'm sorry.
I need to hear. She needs to hear about my annoyance with this minuscule, obscure thing, and she's not getting back.
Yeah, again, you weren't there. But anyway.
So I came home on my husband's birthday, and his mom on her property, a Christmas tree farm, grows trees on their property, and they cut down a tree. So when I got home from the hospital, he had a real tree waiting for me. So that was very nice.
That's a nice little surprise.
Yes, it was one of the best. It was probably the darkest Christmas of my life, but it was really nice to come home to a real tree on his birthday, because his birthday's 2 weeks before Christmas. So it was a very calm Christmas. We did not go out anywhere, but then we started going to the Christmas tree farms and getting trees. So yeah, I'm definitely a real Christmas tree person. I just want to add this too, that when I was a kid, we would always get our Christmas trees like Christmas Eve, right?
Yes.
And my my grandfather would do that. My mom's family would also.
It's an
my
older
dad's
tradition,
family,
right?
Well, actually, I found out that it's not an older tradition. It's just a poor/cheap tradition. So it's just like, it's just something.
Oh, so all the poor folk back in the day, they would go, okay, you're right. It's almost like with Halloween
discounted.
Candy, you know.
Yes.
Okay.
I
got you.
So I did not really realize this. But I don't know that my parents did it because they were cheap. Because they were cheap, but not because they were poor. Well, I mean, we weren't super poor. As I've also alluded to on this podcast before, my mom said that I did not depict how tight things were. She thinks I make it sound like we were richer than we were in some.
I think you guys were
when
rich.
when I was really, really little. But we would always get the tree on Christmas Eve. And my parents even did this the first year that they lived in their apartment together. And every freaking year, the tree would fall over. It was like, we one time had a hook hanging out of the ceiling with a piece of rope holding the tree in place. And then finally, my parents got this Christmas tree stand. It's a German tree stand, and it is so easy to use. And my mom credits it with saving her marriage. So she also bought my husband and I one, and it is the greatest Christmas tree stand. It's a German Christmas tree stand. I think it starts with a K. I should probably find, maybe if we do another episode, next week.
Maybe they could be a sponsor.
Yeah, Mom, just comment below, because you're going to listen, and they could be a sponsor. But yeah, so our tree we would get it Christmas Eve, and then it would fall over, and it would just be complete and utter chaos. There's like 5 kids running around. That sounds
terrible, Karen. But
it was horrible.
You're describing
yes, it was terrible. It was absolutely horrible. So my mom started getting the tree earlier. Like they started getting the tree.
Well, it's
earlier.
So dumb, honestly.
Yeah.
You miss out on an entire month of like one of the pleasures of having the Christmas tree up is like sitting in the family room with the lights down low and the trees on, and you got the TV on. You're missing out on a whole month of that because you're cheap. Get out. You shouldn't even be celebrating Christmas.
Yeah. So no, that stopped when I was probably like 10 or 11. But when I was very young, I remember getting the tree like last minute, the tree falling over. Like
they did that in the Christmas story too. They went to the tree lot on Christmas Eve, right? I'm pretty
Yeah, so
sure.
maybe that's kind of like, I don't know. I would love to know, like I have to like maybe do a little research. Like, is this like kind of a cheap slash poor slash, you know, dysfunctional family? I don't really know. But we used to do that when I was younger, and it became I think my mom, God bless her, is very good at recognition. She's very self-aware and she's very introspective. And I think she probably sat back and thought, why am I doing this? And is this really the best thing to do? So yeah, she laid down the law and we started getting the tree
Good for her.
earlier in the season. So yes, they get their tree. They actually have planted. See, this is a really good example for people. Maybe you're struggling right now. When I was a kid, my
I'm
parents had to
struggling
go.
right now.
Well, when I was a kid, my parents used to have to go on Christmas Eve to get the tree. And now my mom has Christmas trees planted in her farm. It's not a real farm, but it's like a farm property. It's a old farmhouse from the 1800s. It's a farm property.
Sure.
She planted Christmas
Counts.
trees. So she'll have Christmas trees for the future. So she started humble beginnings with faith in God and discipline and sacrifice. They now have their own Christmas tree farm like Taylor Swift. Isn't that what Christmas is all about?
And what a romantic image that is too. Just the concept of having that type of property. You know, it's almost like something you would picture on a postcard. You know,
Yeah,
the
I could send you
surroundings
photos of, yeah,
yeah.
maybe that'll be my mom's house. Well, no, it's probably not a good idea. Make it
Yeah, no, I don't think we
the
want to make it
FBI
public.
comes in.
Um,
But yeah, so I would definitely say I'm a real tree kind of girl, even though, like I definitely get it though. I get the fake tree. I totally get it. I get the convenience. I like convenience, but there's some things that I'm just like a traditionalist on, and it's like,
I would like to implement like that wouldn't be that would be a tradition I wouldn't mind implementing if I ever had a family someday. Like, yeah,
yes,
let's
yeah,
go spend a day and go to the tree lot and pick out a tree.
yeah,
And, yeah, it seems
yeah.
fun, right?
Well, I'm acting like I'm so hardcore about this. We didn't even get a tree this year. Acting like a purist.
Wait, so you
We
don't have a tree up right now?
No.
What in the world?
Wait, hold on. Okay. We were so busy every week, every weekend. There was just too much going on. But I was planning to take out, we have like one of those old ceramic trees. So I was just going to put that out. But no, I was trying to get a real little tree, and it's not like, we just really didn't have any time to go get a tree. Like, it's like to go out to the farm and cut it down. And so I kept
That's
trying
right.
every time
Have a fake tree in the reserves for such a situation.
that's a good idea.
You know what I mean? Like, come on, would it really kill you? You just you put it in the closet, you forget about it, then something like this comes up. You know, you don't have any time. Hey, we got a tree in the closet. You pull that up. Come on, guys.
Well, I have to say that I thought about getting the white birch ones out. Even my father-in-law was over yesterday. He's like, oh man, it's such a bummer driving up to your house and not being able to see the tree in the window. I was like, he was so, I know.
He's right.
Maybe my husband and I will go on Christmas Eve. We'll see how he feels about that.
You should do
We're
that.
bringing back the family tradition.
We would need to make like a TikTok. If you were to do that, I feel like that's something that'll
be a short. A YouTube short.
That should be like a short or something. Hey, how are we doing on time? Are we still good on time?
We're getting up. It might be a little bit. It might be a little bit longer
Because I feel like I have more to say.
Yeah. Oh no, we're going to be a little late today because I got questions, but I will say that I decorated right after Thanksgiving. I had every intention to get a tree. I was cursed this Christmas and was not able to go out and get a tree. And I tried to talk my husband into getting one of these like little trees that they have, like they're only like 2 feet tall at the grocery store. They were like $34. And we were both like, oh, it's a little steep for that little tree.
I think my grandmother had one on her television, on her big box style television.
One of those wooden ones,
was like,
wooden television.
I think it was one of those wooden televisions for sure. But I think like the tree, I I can't remember if it
Yeah,
was
my
like
grandmother gets like a little tree too. Yeah, it's
But, you know,
So that's what I was trying to do is just get like a little tree and just do, maybe my husband and I will go get a little tree that's fake, and then we'll just have that in the reserves, and then we can use that for like our porch or something in the future.
mm-hmm.
All right. Well, that's something to think about.
It's just something to consider. That's all.
On to these important questions that we have laid out for today.
Mm-hmm.
Nightmare Before Christmas or Night Before Christmas?
You're not gonna believe this. I've never seen A Nightmare Before Christmas, and it's almost by choice because it doesn't really look. It doesn't really look that interesting to me. I'm a little annoyed by the whole what would you call it?
Fandom.
Yeah, yes, exactly.
Yeah.
The fandom. I find the fandom to be annoying, and that's part of the reason why I've never seen it.
I think that you and I have something very similar, that we have something very deeply in common, that like we will hate something based on fandoms.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. If
Like
I
me, yeah.
I just observe people, and I observe certain people who are obsessed with, insert intellectual property. And I'm like, oh boy.
Yeah, we just steer clear. Like I realized like I in high school hated certain things. And for years, like I just hated things. And I realized like for example, Dave Matthews Band. I'm like, ugh,
You're right.
I hate that. I hate Dave Matthews.
You're the worst.
I hated Dave Matthews. And then like I would like, I'm like, this isn't terrible. Like I don't hate it. I just hate people that like Dave Matthews. Although I know some people I like. Yeah, I know some people I like that like Dave Matthews, but there's something about, and it's funny because I feel like my parents are also like this, because it's like they also like were not into like the Beatles or the Grateful Dead, and I think it's just because people like worship them and it just turned them off. So
yeah,
we just hate. We love to hate. I mean, it's just what we do well.
I was almost like that for a while with the Beatles, honestly, where like I didn't want to admit just how prolific and how important they were. But as you get older and you dig back into the catalog, it's like really evident, like, oh man, there really was something going on here. These songs really were special for various different reasons. But
oh yeah, I think for me it was like listening to the White Album, and I'm a George Harrison person. Like George is my number one Beatle, and
I can appreciate that. Because a lot of his songs, like honestly, like take for example, like a song like "Here Comes the Sun," like that's just as good of a song as anything that Lennon and McCartney wrote, in my opinion. Yeah, like it's not their songs were superior. No, it was a great song. While My Guitar Gently Weeps. No, he wrote songs that were just as good as those guys.
I agreed. But yeah, sometimes I feel like it's the fandom that makes me hate something. So that's funny that you've never seen. I'm obviously going to say Night Before Christmas. It was just a funny one to throw in there. That's another one where like my mom hated that movie when I was a kid. Like she just was like, ugh, like she was just this, there was something about it. She just was so turned off. She hates anything like creepy like that. Like she loves horror movies, but she hates.
Yeah, like when you try and mix like, the birth of Christ with like Halloween, I don't know, there's something unsavory about it.
Yeah, that's another really like that Santa is really nasty too. I really don't like the Santa in Nightmare Before Christmas, but I mean, we've already probably pissed off the basic witches like so much.
Oh, it is such a basic witch movie.
Yeah, it's such a basic witch. Like there are so many people that like that was their identity through like the first 20 years of their life, and like they're now like buying crystals and like casting spells and probably casting curses on us right now. So hey, have at it, throw the curses, whatever. So
don't pray for me.
Yeah, don't pray for me. All right, this is another fun one. So Little Drummer Boy, Justin Bieber's version, or Bing Crosby and David Bowie's version?
First of all, you picked the worst Christmas song. I despise the Little Drummer Boy and the Rumpa Pum Pum.
Rumpa
Oh,
pum pum.
it almost like makes me angry when I hear the Rumpa Pum Pum. I don't know what it is. I think it's one of the dumbest Christmas. I'm probably like insulting you right now because that's like one of your favorite Christmas songs.
No, it's my dad's favorite though. It's his favorite movie.
Is it really?
Yeah, it's his favorite Christmas movie. My brother used to make fun of it like crazy because it was probably on when he was little. Like it was probably like came out when he was like young. My brother Mike used to make fun of it all the time. Like he was like always making fun of
as he should have, because it's so dumb. The Little Drummer Boy.
It's okay. I mean, I'm not like it's not like one of my, it's definitely, I would give it an A. I would definitely put it in the A categories.
I feel bad now. I'm probably
don't feel bad. I don't. My brother would literally make fun of that song a million times. Like, why don't the animals smile? Like he would just like just blast. He would laugh that the kid was crying. Like, I mean, there's really nothing sacred in my family, so there's no offending me. I'm gonna have to say Justin Bieber's Little Drummer Boy song. You have to listen to it. It's horrible. And there's it's like horribly good that like every year we play, like my cousin, she was really into Justin Bieber. She's around that age. She's 6 years younger than me. And she would have me play the Justin Bieber Christmas album when it came out. And there was his version of Little Drummer Boy. And there's a part where like they rap. I think it's like Ludacris is on it or something. And they're like, I'm surprised you didn't hear this in the Bible. And it's so bad. Like it is so awful. And he's like, I'm so bad. I go like Michael. Like it's so bad that it's good. And my family plays it every Christmas. Like now it's like a thing that we do. Like we rap to it. Like my brother and I were like dancing at Thanksgiving. And obviously David Bowie and Pink Crosby is so much more magical, but there's something I just love about Justin Bieber.
I don't know if I
think you'll like that version. I think you'll like it.
Either version, to be honest with you.
Wow,
I was not a Bowie guy. I never really got Bowie, to be honest with you.
Wow, that's surprising. We're discovering so much on this episode. But all right, so worst Christmas song, Christmas Shoes, or Mariah Carey's All I Want for Christmas Is You.
Oh, we have to pick between one of the two.
As the worst.
I was going to say, I think I mentioned the worst Christmas song, The Little Drummer Boy. Wait, what were the choices for this one again?
Christmas Shoes. I want to buy these shoes from my mom. Oh my goodness, Collin. I have to educate you. We're going to have to take some time this week for me to educate you on everything that you've missed out in your childhood.
Well, I am more of a Halloween guy.
All right, let's just find out. Yeah, you're more of a basic witch. Almost said the B word. Really, the question is, what are your thoughts on Mariah Carey's All I Want for Christmas Is You?
To me, it's almost like a forced meme. Like it's not even something that should really be a meme. I don't know. I get it. Like the concept behind it is that it's like overplayed and you hear it everywhere. I don't know. I always kind of liked it. I was sort of partial to Mariah Carey. I was like really into
like Mariah.
Her. She's like, she was like Elizabeth Hurley level with me for a while there. Although she sort of dropped off the radar, I think.
I love Mariah Carey. And have you ever seen the movie Precious?
I never have, actually.
She plays a social worker in it. And like Mariah is known for her glam. Like if you see her interview, you can tell she has her own professional lighting that she like brings in. She's always looking good. And she really uglied herself to play the social worker. And she brings it. Like she deserved an Academy Award. Because you can't even believe you're watching Mariah Carey as a social worker. Like she's such a diva and she just really, really brings such a different energy in this character. And I was really blown away by her performance. But I actually have to say, if I had to pick the worst of these two, it's going to be Christmas Shoes. Because Mariah Carey's All I Want for Christmas From You is not awful if you didn't have to hear it so much. Right? Like it's
just
not
oversaturation is really the problem here.
It's like,
the market's too saturated with Mariah Carey.
Like I It was so funny too. My uncle, I remember I had an uncle who was in the Air Force and he was a longtime bachelor. And like he left like all of his CDs at our house and he had like all these Mariah Carey albums. Like, I burned like all of his Green Day albums, but he was like super into Mariah Carey too. Amusing to me as a 14-year-old. But yeah, so I don't think Mariah Carey's song is like that annoying. And like every once in a while, because I don't ever hear it, if I hear it out in the open, like out in the wild, I kind of enjoy it a little bit because I don't subject myself to it enough to get annoyed. Like I'm not listening to.
Yeah, I'm not out in public in stores to hear it anyway.
Yeah, so, I don't go exactly.
I'm just ordering from Amazon, Yeah,
so I think that's a good point. Like if you're not oversaturated with it, you can appreciate it in small doses, like a micro dose of Mariah Carey. But if you're hearing it too much, yes,
as the kids say.
It's really not terrible. Like it's like for just being what it is, like a pop song. It's like it's not, like I'm a big fan of Phil Spector's A Christmas Gift from Phil Spector album, which has the amazing what's her name? Darlene Love, her version of Christmas, Baby Please Come Home. So you're looking like you don't know what I'm talking about.
No, I'm hung up on Phil Spector. I don't know. Didn't he kill somebody?
Yeah, whatever. It's
no, I don't even really
for people that do unforgivable things. Okay,
I don't even know what the story is. Honestly, I don't know much about Phil Spector.
His wife or something, but that doesn't take away
probably had
the gift that he gave us with those albums. Okay, right. So like we're compartmenting. I mean, Michael Jackson did a lot of things, and Thriller is still getting played at my house during Halloween, allegedly.
Allegedly.
So I have to just tell you, Christmas shoes. Since I need to educate you because you're ignorant.
Yes, I am. I'm uncultured.
Christmas Shoes is a terrible song that I think was written by like some kind of Christian group. And it's all about this guy waiting in line at a store at Christmas time. And he's a little disgruntled. And this kid comes up in front of him and he goes to the clerk and he's like, I want to buy these shoes for my mom. These are literally the lyrics. I want to buy these shoes for my mama, please. It's Christmas Eve and these shoes are just her size. Could you hurry, sir? Daddy says there's not much time. These shoes are just her size. And I want her to look beautiful if mama meets Jesus tonight. So it's all about, so then the kid takes out a whole bunch of change and the clerk has to count the change. And then the guy like comes up and he pays and he's like, Jesus sent that little boy to remind me what Christmas was all about. And it's such a terrible song. It's like trying to make you feel all these emotions and all it does is make you feel very cringy. It's such a bad song. And what is that comedian's name? He was on King of Queens, not the main character of King and Queens, but the guy who was on the show later. God, I can't believe I'm forgetting his name.
I'm still hung up on
kind of that you don't know it or Mariah Carey.
Is the premise of the story in these lyrics, is it that this kid's mother has some sort of terminal illness?
Yes, yeah, she's dying. Yes.
And his only concern is he wants her to have these shoes.
Yes. So she'll look beautiful if Mama sees Jesus tonight. Yes, yeah, that's the point.
What if the mother died while he was out buying these stupid shoes? He missed out on moments that he could have been spending with his dying mother. I think this kid's a moron, honestly, and I hate this song. I've never heard it, but I don't want to listen to
shoes? Like, why does she need shoes? It's so outrageous. Like,
whoever
just go
wrote
brush
this
your
song,
hair. Yeah,
it kind of creeps me out a little bit.
It's one of those songs where there's no real heart, there's no real soul, and it's trying to manufacture some kind of real. It's kind of like that stupid try this in a small town, try that in a small town song.
Oh yeah, I never commented on your text message.
Yes, well, we'll talk about that. But it's like Oliver Anthony comes and writes a song that actually has real emotion. It's written about it captures a real kismet of the time. And he puts it out there. But trying in a small town is like a manufactured trying to create and trying to capture how people really feel. But it's just manufactured. It's just something that an algorithm comes up with and some nasty producers that are getting paid tons of money to program what people think. And I think that's what I hate about Christmas shoes, is that it's like this like manufactured emotions that some loser came up with, some producer came up with, for somebody to sing. And it's just terrible.
I'm never even going to look it up about that.
Oh no, I'm going to make you, it's Patton Oswalt is the comedian. Patton Oswalt does a beautiful breakdown of this song.
Oh yeah, I can picture him now. He's a
little swarmy looking, but his breakdown of Christmas shoes is fantastic because it's a song I've hated for years, since I was like 12 years old hearing the song. And I'm already so cynical that I'm like, this is horrible. Like, this is absolutely garbage. I don't care if the kid's mom's dying. She doesn't need shoes. The song sucks. Like,
the hell was he going to slip the shoes on her, on her lifeless corpse? Like, this is a weird premise, man.
It's so bad. Premise. It's the worst Christmas song of all time. And anybody that knows it knows that that's the truth. But somehow they keep making us listen to it. This was on the prepared questions, but I want to know what your thoughts are on Trans-Siberian Orchestra. I wonder how your thoughts, yeah.
So the origins of that band, actually, the members in that band were in a band called Savatage. They were like an 80s heavy metal band. And if you want to watch... I knew
you would know a lot of this. I knew it.
I don't know that much, but I know that they were originally in Savatage, the members of the Trans-Siberian Orchestra. And if you want to watch a really entertaining 80s hard rock heavy metal music video, go YouTube In the Hall of the Mountain King by Savatage. And I want you to watch it, actually. I really do want you to watch it. Mm-hmm. And I want to get your take on it. On the video and the song, really mostly the song. I'm curious what your reaction would be.
But anyway, I'm gonna make my husband listen when we drive to Jim Thorpe in
the Hall of the Mountain King by Savatage.
You're gonna send it to me.
I think that they're great musicians. I saw them once. I saw them play live once. I feel like, I don't know, this is almost a similar situation. It's almost like a Mariah Carey situation, because I feel like people don't appreciate them because there is like an oversaturation around Christmas time of dun, 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 you hear how often do you hear that? And I feel like they're great players, and they're almost like an institution around the holidays. I don't really have anything negative to say about them.
No, I don't want you to say anything negative. I think that's what you feel like Karen's setting me up. So I am a Trans-Siberian Orchestra first album lover. Like, I grew up watching that on PBS on the fun drives, and they'd be like, donate now, and then like back to the Trans-Siberian Orchestra, and they'd play, and they had like the little girl conducting, and it was just so good, and it was so different. Like, when it first came out in the like late 90s, I remember just like loving the videos, loving what they were doing. I mean, I grew up with my dad like blasting Pink Floyd and Led Zeppelin, and like he really, really liked it. And that first album is usually one of the first things I play around Christmas time, because I don't consider it like Bing Crosby or some of those like like Oh Holy Night or anything, although they have that in there. Just nice because a lot of it's instrument. That first album is called Christmas Eve and Other Stories. Yes. And there's actually, if you listen to the album all the way through, there is, I don't know what, you would probably know the actual term for this, but there's a story within the songs about a girl. I don't know if it's a daughter or a girlfriend or something, but she is not going to make it home on Christmas.
It's a concept album.
Yes, it's a concept. And so an angel is sent to intervene and come back to God and show, like, you know, show this thing that he's done or something like that, or just whatever. It's just a warm, happy feeling that these, and in the story, she ends up in a bar and they collect money all around to send her home so that she can make it home for Christmas, right? And there's this beautiful song called Old City Bar. And like, it talks about how like that night, and it says on the night of all nights, like you would wonder why they wouldn't be home, and they were already there. And it gets me like I get a little tear going, because you think about all those people that like, they don't really have, maybe they don't have families, and that really is where they are on Christmas, is somewhere like that. And so it's a really fun, like if you listen to the whole album, I think it's listening to what they did, like the first Noel, like some of it's acoustic and it's really beautiful. I think that first album is really good. I think the second album gets a little hokey. Like the music sounds a little bit, I think they did Christmas Canon and that's really good. But outside of that, there's something like that Wizards in Winter that's like a little like, it kind of reminds me of like if you had a keyboard as a kid and the keyboard had those pre-programmed songs. It sounds a lot more like that to me. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I do know what you're saying.
Yeah. It's a little like, it's too hokey. But the first album is excellent. And I saw them twice in concert with my dad. It was a lot of fun. And
I think for me, it just kind of like boils down to, I really enjoy heavier rock music that is orchestral and progressive sounding. And that's one of the reasons why I love Dream Theater. You know, they're one of my favorite bands, and it's because it's a more theatrical, orchestral sounding sort of heavier rock music. And, you know, as a guitar player, of course, I would listen to Trans-Siberian Orchestra. Great guitar players in that band. I put my stamp of approval on TSO. But yeah, make sure you listen to Sabotage.
Yeah, I think if you think they're kind of annoying or they're overplayed or they're hokey, I recommend the first album, because even if you don't really like the like rock stuff, there's a lot of good like acoustic songs that they do and some really great vocalists they have on it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it was a lot of, I don't know, I liked, like I said, I kind of enjoyed that first album. I really, like I said, the second album starts to get like a little weird, but first album, excellent. That was not on the list. I think we have so many. I don't know if we're gonna come back, if we're gonna do next week. We're not sure. I think that, well, it would be next week would be Christmas and then it'd be New Year. So we're gonna have to we'll do some behind the scenes, but I think for the beginning of the year, we're gonna say the next 2 weeks are up in the air. So we'll see, because we're gonna have to change the days we record because of Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve. But I think for the beginning of the year, at least, we want to do our New Year's predictions. So I think that we can predict for the world, of course. Yeah. For the world, for ourselves, for Joe Biden, for Kamala, for Alien Gonzalez.
All I can think of is Bill Murray from Groundhog Day. It's going to be dark. It's going to be gray, and it's going to last you for the rest of your life.
Yeah, I think that. So if we are able to, if we can make it work, we will be back before the end of the year, which I think we could, because we have a lot more to cover. I mean, I feel like there's so much more that we can
ask you one more musical question, just because we're on the subject of music. What's your opinion on like Christmas jazz music? Like sometimes like I'll listen to, there's a particular old jazz guitar player I'll listen to. His name is Joe Pass. And like the music, you know, it's like jazz is like, you know, it's like, you know how jazz music is off the wall and kind of, what's your,
I love jazz. I absolutely, my parents used to listen to jazz music when they would go to bed. I used to listen to a lot of WRTI, Temple University's jazz and classical station. So I really love it. And I actually at home mostly listen to like jazz music in the background and stuff
Really?
like that. So I actually listen to a lot of, I like these little like ambiance channels that play jazz music. And I also like the Christmas jazz that I listen to and kind of get into the instrumental, just like it's in the background. But because I listened to them so much, I started kind of like, I need to get like a real base of like jazz music. So I kind of like started looking at like the essentials. So it's really interesting listening. There's like these videos you can go out and watch of like Louis Armstrong. And I think like all of us know him as doing like a wonderful world. But some of the stuff he did was so wild. Like if you watch it today, it is like experimental. Like some of the videos he did, I don't even know where these would have appeared. Like maybe, I can't even, maybe television, but he did some really, really off the wall stuff that hasn't really been played for years. And it's a lot more experimental than I think even really existed. But I love jazz music. I wish like I knew more about it. Like I wish I really had a deep, like, yeah. I feel like I'm not like an expert, but I appreciate it. I'm an appreciator. I'm not to get into anything that deep, except for like eating. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, well, you know,
I don't like to cook that much. I just like to eat.
Exactly. I despise cooking and I hate cleaning even more. We should just do one of these weeks. We should do a podcast of all the things we hate. Just like like that would probably be like we could do a 2 hour.
Yeah, we could do like
episode.
like things we should never have to do again in our lives. Like right. I mind cooking and I don't mind baking, but like I'm not like I feel like I know so many people that like they're so deep into things. Like I ride my bike, but like I know people that start riding bikes and they're like, I do know people have like 6 bikes. It's like, well, I have this bike for this and this bike. I just have a bike I got off Facebook Marketplace and I ride it around. Like I don't know all the bells and whistles. Like I don't do all this research. It's not part of like my identity now. It's just
the bike
like
subculture is annoying.
Like subculture is annoying though. You know, it's just like I freaking love coffee. I live off coffee. I drink coffee all the time. My whole life revolves around coffee. I'm pretty sure I'm still alive because of being able to get up and have coffee every day.
Probably.
But then you talk to these people and they're like, well, it's a single origin from Colombia and the children picked it for me. Yeah. It's like, like what?
The secret police need to come and take you away immediately.
It is from Mr. Dunkin' Donuts, okay? That's all I know. I don't know. Like, who cares? Like, you people are freaks.
It's like one of those things that doesn't need to be complicated. Like, it's coffee. Like, it's, you know.
Everything is like that. It's like these people don't know what to do with themselves if they aren't, like, being obnoxious and annoying and, like, making all of us have to. Yes, like, I don't know if I've said this on the podcast before. Okay, we're going to have to wrap it up. I just have one more point to make. Yeah. People that call themselves like it's really millennials, okay? Which we are millennials.
Yeah, we are.
So we have a right to criticize these dastardly people. Millennials are the only generation that took eating and made it into like an expertise. And these people are called foodies. They have dubbed themselves as foodies. They don't cook. They just
that word's
eat.
Annoying.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I go to the best restaurants. Like I eat food better than you eat food. Yeah.
Right. That's almost like, it's like, well, I go to the bathroom better than you do. Like, you know, how far are we going to take this? This is ridiculous. This is absurd.
But it's true. Like, it's so true. Like, the only generation that's like, no, you go to restaurants, but like I go to restaurants and have food. Nobody likes going to restaurants. You're not freaking special.
It's like you're an animal.
Yes.
You are just a stupid wild animal. You don't even know what you're eating. I know what I mean.
Yeah. It's
I
like
know
it's
the best places.
Exactly. Like I know all the best diners, but like it's just so obnoxious that like everything millennials do has to be like it becomes their identity. It's so annoying and I don't understand it because I am lazy And I'm not going to spend any additional time trying to figure out what I'm doing here. Okay. Like I just do.
Like, look, people, this is just fuel for the body to keep us alive another day. Really. That's all it is.
I don't have enough time to like, yeah, I try different coffees. I grind the different coffees. But
you can experiment. There's nothing wrong with that. But it's like at the end of the day, it's like I'm looking for a hot caffeinated beverage, and I drink Cafe Bustelo in the morning. That's what I buy. Okay, I got.
It's like these winos too. It's like I drink wine better. I get drunk better than you. You don't know how to get drunk. I know how to get drunk.
It's I got these $3 bottles of wine.
Yeah,
from all of these. It's called Winking Owl. I highly recommend it. I get the Cabernet. It's like
Pennsylvania. I don't know if we can do that. Maybe I don't know. I don't know if Pennsylvania.
Didn't they change that?
Has wine. Oh, I don't know. I don't know how it. I don't.
Well, you do live in a communist dictatorship.
Yeah, dictatorship. So. Yeah. We're no longer under Wolf's regime, but we will be back to complain in another way about other things next week.
I've got a lot to complain about.
Yes, we have.
And we didn't even touch upon, man, we're going to have to do one more Christmas episode. We didn't touch upon movies enough. We have to make this work. We're going to make this work. We have to.
Now that you see the format, feel free to come up with your own. Or we could just talk favorite, you know what I mean? Like we have a lot, like I said, we have a lot of opinions. Like that's what I do well. Okay. I don't eat better than other people. I don't ride my bike better than other people. I don't play any instruments. I don't do it, but I do have a lot of opinions and I express them better than you.
And you should get paid a lot of money to express them because why not?
We should come up with a term for that. Like we're opinionies or something, like foodies. We'll have to work on this. We'll have to come up with a term. Be like, no, we are, I guess it's called critics. We're just critics. We're cynics. Cynics, probably probably right.
Well, listen, I'm a foodie, so I'm going to be going out for some Mexican food to this particular place because I'm such a foodie. I usually get the carne asada tacos.
Well, before we go, I just want to share, this is my favorite cookie that I make. I don't know if you can see my
I love those. Cookies. What are those called?
This is a raspberry thumbprint cookie. And then we have a gender neutral bread man. Well, okay, so we got that.
We gotta be inclusive.
Yes, of course. Yeah.
This
is how our show gets removed from YouTube. But anyhow, we will see you all. Have a Merry Christmas if we are not back with another episode. And we will, I hope you enjoy your holiday, Collin.
Yeah, likewise, Karen. Have a very Merry Christmas, everybody. And we shall see you next time right here on the ReEducation Camp. Merry Christmas.